Good morning, You Can Heal family. It's Monday. I trust that you had a good weekend. I did. It was long, it was busy. I did get to see my grandson, and I just got to cuddle with him. And that was really special. So I thank God for that. We're going to finish Numbers today. We're going to do 2 chapters, 35 and 36. So thanks for just spending time with me during this Old Testament book, and trust that you got out of it what the Lord revealed to you. So let's get going. Oh, my name is Shena, by the way. We've been reading the Old Testament together. Here we go. Numbers chapter 35, Towns and Cities for the Levites. While Israel was camped beside the Jordan on the plains of Moab, across from Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, "Instruct the people of Israel to give to the Levites from their property certain towns to live in, along with the surrounding pasture lands. These towns will be their homes, and the surrounding lands will provide pasture for their cattle, flocks, and other livestock. The pasture land assigned to the Levites around these towns will extend 1,500 feet from the town walls in every direction. Measure off 3,000 feet outside the town walls in every direction, east, south, west, north, with the town at the center. This area will serve as the larger pasture land for the towns. You must give the Levites 6 cities of refuge where a person who has accidentally killed someone can flee for safety. In addition, give them 42 other towns. In all, 48 towns with the surrounding pasture land will be given to the Levites. These towns will come from the property of the people of Israel. The larger tribes will give more towns to the Levites, while the smaller tribes will give fewer. Each tribe will give in proportion to its inheritance." Verse 9, the cities of refuge. And the Lord said to Moses, "Say this to the people of Israel. When you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, designate cities of refuge for people to flee to if they have killed someone accidentally. These cities will be places of protection from a dead person's relatives who want to avenge the death. The slayer must not be killed before being tried by the community. Designate 6 cities of refuge for yourselves, 3 on the east side of the Jordan River and 3 on the west in the land of Canaan. These cities are for the protection of Israelites, resident foreigners, and traveling merchants. Anyone who accidentally kills someone may flee there for safety." Verse 16, "But if someone strikes and kills another person with a piece of iron, it must be presumed to be murder, and the murderer must be executed. Or, if someone strikes and kills another person with a large stone, it is murder, and the murderer must be executed. The same is true if someone strikes and kills another person with a wooden weapon. It must be presumed to be murder, and the murderer must be executed. The victim's nearest relative is responsible for putting the murderer to death. When they meet, the avenger must execute the murderer. So, if in premeditated hostility someone pushes another person or throws a dangerous object and the person dies, it is murder. Or if someone angrily hits another person with a fist and the person dies, it is murder. In such cases, the victim's nearest relative must execute the murderer when they meet." Verse 22, "But suppose someone pushes another person without premeditated hostility or throws something that unintentionally hits another person, or accidentally drops a stone on someone, though they were not enemies, and the person dies. If this should happen, the assembly must follow these regulations in making a judgment between the slayer and the avenger, the victim's nearest relative. They must protect the slayer from the avenger, and they must send the slayer back to live in a city of refuge until the death of the highest priest. But if the slayer leaves the city of refuge and the victim's nearest relative finds him outside the city limits and kills him, it will not be considered murder. The slayer should have stayed inside the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer may return to his own property. These are the permanent laws for you to observe from generation to generation, wherever you may live. Verse 30. All murderers must be executed, but only if there is more than one witness. No one may be put to death on the testimony of only one witness. Also, you must never accept a ransom payment for the life of someone judged guilty of murder and subject to execution. Murderers must always be put to death. And never accept a ransom payment from someone who has fled to a city of refuge, allowing the slayer to return to his property before the death of the high priest. This will ensure that the land where you live will not be polluted, for murder pollutes the land, and no atonement can be made for murder except by the execution of the murderer. You must not defile the land where you are going to live, for I live there myself. I am the Lord who lives among the people of Israel. And that concludes chapter 35. So we're going to go right on into chapter 36. It's not long at all. It's entitled Special Problems of Inheritance in Canaan. Then the heads of the clan of Gilead, descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came to Moses and the family leaders of Israel with a petition. They said, Sir, the Lord instructed you to divide the land by sacred lot among the people of Israel. You were told by the Lord to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. But if any of them marries a man from another tribe, their inheritance of land will go with them to the tribe into which they marry. In this way, the total area of our tribal land will be reduced. And then when the year of Jubilee comes, their inheritance of land will be added to that of the new tribe, causing it to be lost forever to our ancestral tribe. Verse 5, So Moses gave the Israelites this command from the Lord. The men of the tribe of Joseph are right. This is what the Lord commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad. Let them marry anyone they like, as long as it is within their own ancestral tribe. None of the inherited land may pass from tribe to tribe, for the inheritance of every tribe must remain fixed as it was first allotted. The daughters throughout the tribes of Israel who are in line to inherit property must marry within their tribe, so that all the Israelites will keep their ancestral property. No inheritance may pass from one tribe to another. Each tribe of Israel must hold on to its allotted inheritance of land. The daughters of Zelophehad did as the Lord commanded Moses. Mahal, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah all married cousins of their father's side. They married into the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Thus their inheritance of land remained within their ancestral tribe. These are the commands and regulations that the Lord gave to the people of Israel through Moses while they were camped on the plains of Moab beside the Jordan River across from Jericho. And that's it. That's the end of chapter 36, and that's the end of the Old Testament book of Numbers. I want to thank you all for sticking it out with me and going through this Old Testament. And for some of you, it might be your first time hearing some of these books, so that's good. Be proud of that you're, wanting to hear what the Lord was saying back in the Old Testament times. So that's good. That's a good thing. As I was reading, I was thinking about church today. It was our 25th anniversary of the church, and the pastor and his wife were kind of up on the stage just going through some scriptures and things like that from the series, and he was in John, and he was talking about the word abide, and he described the word abide as settle down. And he kept saying it, and I was like, what? And he was saying, yeah, to abide in Christ is to just settle down in him. And basically, my rough interpretation or understanding of what he was saying, or what is really sticking with me, is just being able to focus on the word, abiding in him and relying on his word to carry us through, to get us through all things, just to settle down in him and to trust and know that God is who he says he is. So I'm thankful for that. So now whenever I say settle down, it's going to mean more. It's more me just grounding myself and abiding in him and staying close to him. It was going on. He is the vine and we're the branches, and how we need to just anchor down and settle into the Lord's will and the Lord's way for our life, so that the path he's set before us will be accomplished. So I thank God for that, and also I thank God for you. Always remember that true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love and he lives on the inside of you. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to take a look at Deuteronomy and go through a little bit of the introduction, and then we'll get right into the book the following day. All right? We'll talk soon. Bye.